Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast, sponsored by Prize Picks. My name is Adam Cohn, I am your host, and joined as always by my buddy, Dan Welch. Dan, what's going on, buddy?
Hey Adam, not too much. Another decent day on the showdown slate. Not to rub
Crushing
it
it
in.
again. Crushing
Don't be
it again.
salty.
I'm
Don't be
not
salty.
salty. Not salty. You're winning money.
And it's all because of our little analysis, I think, that we do. So I owe it. I owe at least 1% to you. So.
Oh, excellent. I'll take my penny and move on. You just love playing big for their going down like 12 rounds and then coming back and going, hi, remember us? We win. And they're like
Wait, no,
10,000 overtimes.
dude, I'm serious. I'm trying to go for the lower owned. It's it can have its benefit and
I say we just game stack the entire first game or the entire second game. Why? Because apparently it works. Which is my terrible segue into our review. I had no segue. Look who's at the top again.
yeah, that's not fair.
It's $15,000 in Lynch's pocket. What are you talking about? Lynch 303 wins the 5,000 again, third day in a row. Congrats to Lynch 303. That's $15,000 in 3 days. You love to see it. But again,
Love to see it.
Third day in a row. 3 game stacks. Lineup construction that has no correlation. Captain, Zori, and Ariel were the 2 Havu that you needed. And Havu did end up being Dignitas, and Zori continues to go ham. And Ariel, he got there because of the last map. He looked terrible. Dan, shout out to us. We took the under on Ariel on Prize Picks. That paid off. It was a good thing it was only map 1 and 2. Let's talk about, again, the no correlation and typical how you win a GPP. 3 big, 1 complexity.
Yeah. I mean, I know that this is a little perplexing.
A little.
But, I mean, you can kind of make the argument that Blame F does well in a loss, and
if this was 2020, Blame F, who goes out there and frags like Config's fragging right now, sure.
Yeah.
If you want to make that argument, absolutely. Config has been playing out of his mind.
Did you know he was supposed to go to Astralis?
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think they ended up having something happened and the deal fell through and then they got Magisk.
That's crazy. I know he was tagged. He's been a massive up-and-comer on the Danish scene for a while. But speaking of Astralis, Dan, unintended segue, or unintended way to introduce the biggest Counter-Strike news of the entire year so far. Device has left Astralis. The number 3 best player in the world has left Astralis. And where did he go? The Ninjas
Nipples.
in Pajamas. He went to Nip.
So I had to shine up my crystal ball again because I did say that Nip would be number 1 this year, and now it's looking a little bit more likely with this move.
They still have an inexperienced IGL.
Oh, no, they won't. Hampus would go back to IGL, and then
not from part of the article I think I was reading. I think
who's he going to replace then?
He replaced Knock.
No.
Yep.
There's no way.
So Device has replaced Knock. Knock's been placed on the transfer list. The Ninjas in Pajamas roster is now Plopsky, Rez, Hampus, ZTR, and Device. Device instantly makes that roster better. I didn't realize his home is in Stockholm, Sweden.
What is that? Yeah. Well,
Device. and he's learned to speak the language,
Oh, okay.
which is very interesting. So now he knows Danish and Swedish. So I mean that's just it's massive, massive Counter-Strike news. It's going to take a while for device obviously to get integrated. Do not expect anything out of NIP for the next 3 months or so. Why am I saying 3 months? Look at Evil Geniuses. Look at OG. Look at anyone else that's had a roster move. Look at G2 still struggling. And that was ever since they incorporated Nico, now they're incorporating Jax back. It just takes time for teams to get cohesion. And again, even though, device speaks the language, is it as fluent as the rest of the roster? Are they going to speak a little bit in English? I mean, we just don't know. There are a lot of unknowns. All I know is this is a massive upgrade for the Ninjas in Pajamas. If they continue to go with ZTR as the in-game leader, that is going to be very interesting. Because now you have, I don't want to say like all this pressure on ZTR, but you kind of have pressure on ZTR.
Huh. I'm perplexed by Knock leaving, but I guess I kind of
He's
make
inconsistent.
sense. But
Anyways,
I
check
mean,
out the articles on hltv.org. There were two art.
Raz Campus and now Device. That's some firepower.
Way to just leave Plopsky off that list.
Eh, Topsky.
Oy. Yeah, another up and down player. Hopefully, Device will come in and bring some new energy back into this team. But we shall see. So check out the articles in hltv.org. There's two of them. There's one announced. There's one with a NIP announced the signing of Device, and then there's one with a Device kind of like interview. So check that out. Dan, I think we need to take into account for 2 game slates, game stacks. But let's
Yeah,
also take this into account. Every single game stack, so yesterday and today, that one lynched the GPPs had at least one game of overtime.
yeah. I mean, like you can't really predict that.
Ariel got lucky because of map 3. You got one overtime in the complexity big game. You can't predict overtimes. You can't predict when these players are going to go off. You just can't. I mean, like, Zori right now is playing on another level. 70, 14, and 37.
It's crazy.
With a 1v2 clutch, a 4K, and a 5K.
He literally broke the slate.
159 Draftkings points on the captain spot. Yep.
Yeah, enough about that.
I mean, again, like, look, this is 3 days in a row of this. We have to take takeaways. On 2 game slates, anything's on the table, including a non-correlated game stack if things break your way. Now, Lynch's lineups, he could have maxed out and gone a couple of these weird contrarian ones and did full normal correlation. That's fine. We have to get different on 2 game slates. It's just for you and I, we're only playing one lineup. Not something we're going to typically do. We're going to stick to what we've seen over the long term and what we've seen over long-term correlation.
Right.
So again, we're not reacting to a small sample size. We have enough sample size of Counter-Strike DFS now. But we know typically that win these are 3-2-1s or 3-3s, not to be included in game stacks. But that's besides the point. My captain Halzuk was looking really good after map 1.
It was.
And then
It
Dignitas
was.
was like, okay, nap time.
Yep.
It was just crazy. Forest, not of his mind. Hey, speaking of prize picks, we crushed.
Good.
I
Hey,
went
you crushed.
I went 5 for 5 today. Not gonna lie. And people are like, wait, you only gave 4 picks. I saw Elan was posted. It was the grand final for X Win Strike up against some team that I've never heard of, and I'm like, yeah, Elan's gonna crush them. So I hit 5 for 5.
That's awesome. It's
So
10x.
I turned my $5 into $50. And
Yeah, buddy.
speaking of our friends on Prize Picks, Dan, first of all, we talk about Prize Picks. Anything else you want to talk about for the winning lineup?
No, nope. Move on.
Alrighty. And again, we're not mad at Lynch. I think we're more mad at the variance that we've seen in this event over the last 5 days. At least I know it's very a little bit tilting and frustrating.
Yep.
It's just there's been a lot of variance. So, but hey, Lynch has taken advantage of that variance and has won $15,000 at least in the last 3 days. So congrats to Lynch 303. Before we get into the main slate, folks, hit that like button, leave a comment down below, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. That way you'll know every single time one of these podcasts drop. The CSGO Clutch podcast is sponsored by PrizePicks. Head over to prizepicks.com. Use the promo code CLUTCH, where PrizePicks is going to match your deposit up to $100 for 100%. You enter $100, PrizePicks will give you $100 in credit. You will have $200 in your bankroll immediately. You love the 100% match. Dan, it's not something you see DFS sites typically do anymore. I love what PrizePicks is doing with this promo code.
That's very generous.
Very, very generous indeed. So look, we're going to talk about a new mode here on PrizePicks at the end of the show. As always, PrizePicks segment will come at the very end after we've gone through our learning and our analysis. Our favorite picks, and then we'll tell you about the PrizePicks and see from our analysis if any of our thoughts have changed from when we initially started. For example, I can tell you OC is on the board at 39.5 points. I have no idea what to do with OC, so hopefully this analysis part of it will help me figure out what to do. Dan.
Adam.
Let's get into the slate.
Okay.
First game here on the slate is Havu versus Big. What the F do we do here? Because let me go before we get into the games. The odds. I'm going to refresh. Here are the odds. Fours, minus 120. Extra Salt, minus 101. Havu, minus 115. Big, minus 105. There isn't an underdog on the slate. What are we doing with Havu versus Big?
We're talking straight up DFS, right?
We're talking DFS, Pinnacle, no underdogs. They're all kind of sort of like pick'em games. They're leaning right now fours and Havu, but they're pick'ems. What are we doing on this slate?
You got to just, fit the dudes and fade some of these overpriced, like Tabson's overpriced.
Tabson's $9,200 on the most expensive player on the slate.
Ariel's overpriced, in my opinion. Searson's perfect. X7's perfect. Xantara's, if he keeps up form, another perfect. So there you go. Searson, X7, Xantara's. That's what I'm playing.
Interesting.
Yep. And then for fours, extra salt. What?
You want absolutely no Mr. Zori's playing like simple?
No. I'm good.
Really?
If someone else other than Simpler Zaiwu is getting the same amount of percentage or ownership, and that's like an immediate fade for me because those Zori is not them.
He's not, but he's on another level.
Great.
I'm not fading it. I'm not fading it.
Okay.
I'll eat the chalk. I have faded Zori 2 slates in a row, or maybe 3. I've lost count. I'm done not winning money, Dan. You want to call this chasing? I call it following the performance. I call it following the eye test. He has looked like the best player in the tournament.
Well, you've convinced me.
To further not play Zori?
Know that I will play him, but just not heavily.
I think we need to see, because he's probably going to be extreme chalk on this slate at $6,800.
Yeah.
The Opera for Havu, I think he's going to be massive chalk. I like the X7 call at 7,600. I'm interested at Ariel 8,800. I'm not really interested in Slowy or generally for DFS purposes. However, we do have Slowy as one of our prize picks today, so we'll get into that a little bit later. On the big side of things for me, Searson for me. Tabson, then Xantaras. I could see if you want to go Xantaras 2 and Tabson 3 because of the pricing. Keto is 4 for me, and I'm not playing Tizian.
No Tizian?
No Tizian. MMEs? Sure, I'll play Tizian. I have no interest in playing Tizian in a single lineup. And if he beats me, he beats me.
Probably not likely.
I wish we had more analysis because these games are so close. This is a play whoever you like kind of slate. Take a narrative, pick it, and go with it.
I would have to agree.
Because they're so close games. Like, I think we're going to see a Havu Extra Salt final. Or Havu is going to advance to face the loser of Fours and Extra Salt. Because that's how this works. So Havu and Big are the semifinal for the lower bracket. And then you get the grand final for the lower bracket, which is going to be the winner of Havu versus Big and the loser of Fours versus Extra Salt on Sunday. We have one game showdown slate. And then Monday is going to be the grand final for FunSpark. And then we will have DreamHack. DreamHack starts on April 29th, which is next Thursday, where we'll see who knows what Astralis' roster is going to look like. Right now, Bubsky is in. I do not know who is being the opper. But we will see. Maybe let's go all riflers for right now. I would expect Esatag to be signed back to the Astralis roster. That's my opinion. We'll get into DreamHack sometime next week. Dan, second game here and final game on the slate is Fours versus Extra Salt. Flip, $8,400. Zordy, the opper for Fours, $7,400. Kensei, $6,600. Fang for Extra Salt, $6,400. Jerry and Almazer, they're under 6,000 and don't play them. What are we
Adam?
doing with Fours and Extra Salt?
So yeah, Extra Salt seems kind of like the hot team right now.
Well, then you better get some extra pepper for Extra Salt.
Which is maybe
That was such a bad joke. I am so sorry. I am so
get some
sorry.
pepper with that Extra Salt, Adam. You better
I'm
pepper
gonna
that
just
Extra
over
Salt.
here, folks. Dan's gonna talk for the next half hour. Bye
bye. Okay.
I'll just see myself out.
Why?
That was a bad
You
joke.
bitch.
That's such a bad joke.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, back to now that I've got you completely off your train of thought with that bad joke. What are we doing with Fours versus Extra Salt?
I'm gonna play Fours.
Why are you playing Fours?
Because I like them, and I think they have a better internet connection. And I don't like Sonic. I might do a 2-1, like two Fours and one an OC.
Interesting. So you're gonna go 3 Havu or 3 Big?
No, I'm gonna play exactly what I said. Was
You're gonna
Searson.
go 2-1, 2-1?
Yeah, why not? That would be different.
I was gonna
think
say.
You even...
I did do it on one slate. I think. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we've seen Widow win recently, so.
Yeah.
And plus, you play single entry, so you're trying to optimize the most points you can out of your roster as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and today worked great for the showdown because I had 2-2 again, and it was config. I mean, it was kind of an easy pick. It was Searson and Xantaras, config, and Blame F, but
yeah.
It crushed. And I was actually in the. I think I was in top 10 for the GPP too. I had 3 identical lineups.
You were crushing it. So you're thinking definitely Fours over Extra Salt.
Well, no, I don't. I'm not saying they'll win. I'm just saying that I think that Fours or Extra Salt, because they're the hot team, will garner some ownership that Forza won't.
Forza again is coming in as the higher favorite than Extra Salt. Again, not by much.
I thought you said there was no favorite.
No. Forza's favored, -120. Extra Salt's a -101 favorite.
Oh, well, okay. So then, I don't know if that'll have much of an impact on ownership, but of course it will. And within some of these, the sharper single entry tournaments where you have want to square up and who else? Ian J. and several other big name DFS players. Being different from them can be difficult because they're thinking the same way that I'm thinking. But I think people will still gravitate towards the Salt Boys, and I'm just going to stick with that. You know what, Adam? You know what I've learned is that if you question everything you do, you just kind of end up in this weird state of mind where you're always unsure of what you're doing. It's just better to make a decision and go with it.
It's fair. I'm playing Extra Salt because Forrest owes me money. No, I think Extra Salt's the better team.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think Extra Salt have a good chance of winning 2-1. OC's 8,000 on DraftKings, and he's the opper for Extra Salt.
OC's really good.
I wonder how chalky he's gonna be in the captain.
Oh, super chalk.
I kind of like Captain Fang.
Ooh. See, I could go. I could go with that. I'll do that in a single entry probably.
I kind of like Captain Fang. Here's what Fang has done this tournament. Game log. 58, 12, and 44 with 2 1v2 clutches and an ace versus Big at 5,400. 76 DraftKings points versus Dignitas 41, less frags, 12, 27, less deaths, 6 first kills, 2 4Ks, 80 DK points. I can get behind some Captain Fang on this slate.
All right, so Adam, I'm unfortunately going to switch now to Extra Salt, and not because of anything that you just said, but so Forza on their jerseys, they have red sleeves, and Extra Salt has a pure black jersey.
Here we go. Here we go. Going right back to this, aren't you, Dan?
I mean, it only didn't work once so far out of my 3 tries using it.
Oy vey. I think
But
Extra Salt's a
now,
better team. I think Extra Salt have a good chance winning 2-0. I think I've sold myself. I'll say, like, when we get the prize picks, well, I'll have my debate on OC. $8,000 for OC is a little too cheap for him, and I will play him as well. I just don't know if I'm going to eat the chalk captainness of OC. I'll pivot to Fang. But Sonic's been the second best player on this team.
so I just want to comment real quick. I think that prize picks might be selling themselves short. I think that it's not high enough
On
for
OC,
OC.
39 and a
I mean,
half is the same line that we've seen Elan given. It's the same line we've seen Attacker given today. 39 and a half is a tough one to hit because you need to have 20 frags on each map. Or one map better be well over 20 frags. And like I think that's a really good line. We'll talk about it in our prize pick segment. But here's Sonic's line for FunSpark. 59, 12, and 46 versus Big. With a 1v2 clutch and a 4K for 70 DraftKings points at 5,800. He was $7,000 versus Dignitas, 36, 10, and 28 with 6 first kills for 64 DraftKings points. Sonic's looked really good. I'm very, very impressed. I'm very surprised. So we will definitely see. I could definitely get behind a 3-stack of Extra Salt with Captain Fang behind it. Anything else you want to talk about here on this 2-game slate?
not just that we're probably going to see Train and Inferno, and if Extra Salt picks Train, then that puts Forza on the CT side first, which could be an advantage for Zorte.
Yeah, I like Zordy on the slate as well. Zordy and
Yep.
then Flit, and if you're MMEing Kensei, don't play Jerry Almazer.
No, stay away from those guys.
Just stick with the main 3. I understand we have to get different. Jerry and Almazer are not high fraggers.
No.
But again, if you want to get different, that's fine. I would just advise against rostering them. Anyway, Dan, core value, GPP, and team stack segment. What do you got?
Core, I'm actually gonna go back to Searson. Value, I'm gonna go with 4 and 5. 4 and 5 is a 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 can't see. Can you scroll down? Tizian again. 5,200 is pretty cheap with my narrative of big trouncing Havu. And then for GPP, I'll Tabson, just because of the price.
It's fair. Core for me, X7. Value, Keto. GPP, Zordy.
Keto's a good call.
It's your favorite team stack.
Favorite team stack would be Big.
For me, I don't have one.
Okay.
If I had to choose, it's like I said, my narrative is Havu win and Extra Salt win. And that's most likely who I'm pulling most of my players from.
So now I am going to go back to fours. So I'm going to be complete opposite. So I'll go Big in fours.
I like it. So that's who you think win. I think Havu and Extra Salt win. Dan, it's time to get into our prize pick segment here on the show.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, our tier 1 talent for the slate. Slowy, Tabson, Zordy, and OC. Slowy, 32.5 fantasy score. Give me the over.
You're 100% over.
Tabson, 34.5. He was close to not getting there today. Give me the over.
Over.
Zordy, 35.5 versus Extra Salt. Not high enough. Give me the over. All right, folks, here's exactly what I want to do. Slowy, Tabson, Zordy. Before we get to OC, this is one of the unique, fun things to prize picks. You go 1, you go 2, you go 3. I'm going to go over, over, over. Remember, there are 2 options. There is the flex play option. Excuse me. Where 3 correct picks will get you 2.25. Your entry. 2 correct picks. This is where the flex comes in. If you only get 2 of your 3, you still get 1.25. However, I would want to go here at the power play option. I feel really confident in these 3. I feel really confident with them in the over. And you can have your entry fee here. So if you enter $20, you get 5x. You get $100.
I think you should do 50.
Are you going to reimburse me in case this doesn't happen?
Nope.
Okay, then. All invoices can go to Dan. I'm kidding. If you want to do a 5-stack, so before we get into the 5-stack, so this is something I feel confident in. I feel confident about all 3 of these players hitting their overs. If you feel confident about that, you go instead of the flex play that we've shown you all over the last couple days, go to the power play option. You have to hit all 3. If you do, for 3 correct, you get 5x. You love that.
Yeah, that's not a bad payout.
Not at all. Alrighty, Dan. Here we go.
Okay.
OC. The line is 39.5. For maps 1 and 2, do you think he gets more than 39.5?
I think he crushes it.
I like the confidence.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets there, it's 40 or 41. I can also see him hitting the under like 39.5. Great job by Price Picks. Very tough line. Yeah, I think I'm going to go over as well. I'm just not as confident in that as well. I'm going to give you all a 5th player. His name is Attacker from Tyloo.
Attacker.
This is a kid who has insane upside.
That he does.
39.5 fantasy points. Or fantasy score. Dan over under. I'm going over.
He can be very volatile, so.
Very much volatile. But it's against D13, who I have no idea who D13 even is.
They're not bad.
Let's find out. Tyloo versus D13. So D13.
I might have been thinking of somebody else.
Let's see.
Oh, they're gonna smack these guys.
D13.
Tyloo's good.
Over the last online over the last 3 months, they've played 23 maps over the last 3 months. 21 recently. All right. They've lost to Invictus. Invictus is a good team. They beat New Happy, Checkmate, Lin Vision. They lost Lin Vision once. So like, these look like tier 2, tier 3 teams to me,
tier 3 at
or
best, I
lower.
think. Yeah. Yeah.
They only have 2 good players according to last month of play. Maybe let's go last 3 months. Score plus 127. Annihilation plus 67. Zero Lights minus 21. Yeah, like these guys, well, good. Let me go show you all the stats for Tiny.
In case anybody doesn't know, the Asia Pacific region does not have strong Counter Strike talent. They're all into League of Legends, so Counter Strike suffers.
Go online here for Tyloo over the last 3 months of play. They've only played 19 maps over the last 3 months of play.
Yeah, they've been out for a
Won
while.
every single one of their games except for one, including 2 victories over Invictus. These are pretty dominating fashion. Let's go to the players. There's Attacker at plus 103. But what Dan and I meant by volatility, this is a kid who, if we look at the match score, 25 and 8. That was versus Invictus. Okay, New Happy was 19 and 17. That wasn't getting you there. This isn't getting you there. Lin Vision, that's getting you there.
Big
Invictus
time.
19 and 15 is not getting you there. 15 and 33, there's your high end. Yes, it was overtime. That's getting you there. 24 and 15, that's 39. That's not getting you there. But against D13, who seems to be a lower ranked team, I'll take the chance on the over. Again, Attacker is very volatile. You could go under if you wanted to, purely based on the stats.
In relationship to his line, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he is volatile in general as well.
I mean, again, if this was normal DFS, we're playing Attacker. I mean, you
Yeah.
just look at the stats. But because of how Prize Picks is, again, 39.5, these are very tough lines for Attacker and OC on this slate. I'd still take the over, but I could also see taking the under. So like I said, I'm very confident in Slowy, Tapson, and Zordy. Sounds like Dan, you are too.
Mm-hmm.
I would take all those guys and I'd put in a power play. I would do Attacker, Slowy, Tapson, Zordy, OC. And I might go under on Attacker now, but I still kind of want to go over. And I do all 5. I do a power play and see if I can nail that 10x. Dan, anything else you want to talk about in the slate?
No, I'm good. I think it could be fun tomorrow, and I think we're both due for a main slate victory.
I like it. Let's hope if one of us don't get it, we hope one of our fine listeners out there, one of you all take down that large field GPP on DraftKings, and hopefully you all crush Prize Picks. Again, use the promo code CLUTCH for up 100% of your deposit bonus. There, 100% of your deposit bonus matched up to $100. Shout out to Prize Picks. What an awesome promo they are running. Little bit of housekeeping here at the end. Dan and I will be back for the DreamHack Masters Spring 2020 event. There will be no CSGO Clutch podcast for the one-game slates coming up for the rest of FunSpark. If you have any questions on those one-gamers, you can reach out to us on Twitter. You can find me at AdamWX21. You can find Dan at Wandelch, WANDELCH. And we will see you all for the DreamHack Masters event next Thursday. Dan, any final thoughts? Or we're going to get out of here.
No, none tonight. Just have a safe weekend.
Absolutely. Have a safe weekend, everybody. Crush it on DraftKings and Prize Picks. Dan and I will see you all for DreamHack Masters Spring 2021. Good luck. Latest peoples.